Hello and welcome to the Progress. As a continuation to the banking series, today we are going to look about the functions of RBI, and this is the scoring area with respect to your examination. So what are all the functions or roles of the RBI? RBI issues the bank currency or banknotes, and RBI acts as the banker to the Government of India as well as the state government. RBI acts as a banker to the bank, and RBI acts as the lender of the last resort. It is the custodian of the forex reserves. It is the controller of the credit supply, and it is going to be the regulator of the banks too. And we are going to see all the functions of the RBI in this session. But apart from this, RBI rules as a issuer of banknote, we are not going to see in this session because this we are going to cover in a separate series in the money. There is some separate series known as money series in our videos. In that money series, we will cover the functions of RBI with respect to the supply of the currency note or the banknote. First, we will begin with how the RBI functioning as a banker to the Government of India and the state. As a banker to the Government of India, RBI performs or RBI lends money to the Government of India, RBI maintains the internal debt of the Government of India, and also RBI represents the India in the international forum. Suppose tomorrow I want to expand my business. I want 100 crore rupees. Then I am approaching the bank. Then the local bank is giving me the loan. In this case, the local bank is acting as banker to me. In the same way, RBI is acting banker to the Government of India. First, we will see the first thing. How the RBI lends money to the Government of India. To understand how the RBI lends money to the Government of India, we have to understand the basic concept that is known as G security or GSEC. GSEC is the short form of the government securities. Okay? Understand like this. Tomorrow, suddenly, if the government wants to borrow, let's say 1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh rupees for some purposes, then what the government will do? Government will give promise or issue the promise stating that if you are giving me 1 lakh rupees, in the return I will return the 1 lakh rupees back to you after some specified date with a specified interest rate. For example, I will keep a simple number. If you are giving me 1 lakh rupees means, then after 1 year, I will return your 1 lakh rupees with 10% interest. Like this, if the government is issuing the promise, then what will happen? The people will give the money to the government. Therefore, if these promises are in the written or documented form, then it is known as the government security. Therefore, government security is nothing but it is a tool or it is a promissory instrument used by government to get the money. Government can issue the government security and collect the money for the government security. After the maturity, government will pay back the money. So this is the concept or idea of the GSEC. Once this GSEC is created, it has to be bought or sold. Correct? GSEC should be buy or sold by the consumer. But this managing process is not carried on by the Government of India. Because as you know, Government of India is having lot of works to do. So government can't stagnate in managing this government securities. So government will transfer this burden to the Reserve Bank of India. So it is the duty of the Reserve Bank of India to manage this government security. That is buying the government security or selling the government security. The process related to managing the government securities will be handled by the Reserve Bank of India. And this buying and selling will be taking place online using a portal known as eCuber. eCuber or eCuber. Using this online portal, RBI used to auction the government securities or buybacks the government securities. So remember, this is the eCuber portal. Using this portal only, this government securities transactions used to take place. And if the maturity of the government security is less than 1 year, or if the maturity of the government security is less than 1 year means, then it is known as short-term government security. If the maturity is greater than 1 year, then it is known as long-term government security. You are understanding? Suppose I am telling this, I am giving you 1 lakh, after 1 year I will return means after 1 year, greater than 1 year, then it is known as long-term. If I am returning back within 1 year, 364 days means, then it is a short-term government security. I hope the concept of government security is clear to you. Now we will see how the state government and central government are issuing the government security and getting back the money. So as you know before, the RBI acts as a banker to both state government as well as the central government. With respect to the central government can issue both the short-term government security and long-term government security. But with respect to the state government can issue only long-term security. State government can't issue short-term government security. It can raise the short-term money by other means. By selling this government security or by this route, the state government can't issue the short-term securities. And the technical term associated for the government securities, everything is government securities only. But the technical term used to refer this government security for short term is treasury bill. And for the long term, if the central government is issuing the government security means, then it is known as the dated securities. Dated securities. Mind my handwriting, I am sorry for my handwriting. And if the state government is issuing the government security for the long term, then it is known as the state development loan. So you should be conscious about this term. If the central government issuing the government security for the short term, it is known as treasury bill. If it is issuing for the long term, it is known as the dated securities. If it is issued by the state government for the long term, then it is known as the state development loan. Now we saw it is important to know this terminologies because tomorrow you might be getting a question saying that treasury bills are issued by the government of India to attract the investment for more than 1 year. In that case, the answer is no, because treasury bill is a short-term format of the government security. But dated securities and state development loans are the longer-term versions of the government securities. So be careful about the terminologies or the nomenclature. Now we saw about the nomenclature difference or name difference between the short term and long term. Now we will see what are the technical difference between the short term and long term. Once again, now we will see the technical difference between the long term and short term. Okay. First we will see the short term. Short term is nothing but your treasury bills. The short form is T-bills. Suppose to understand the T-bills, first we have to know about the two concepts, that is market value or face value or face price, then selling price. Selling price or the market price. Please mind my handwriting guys. Market price or market value. We have to know about these two terms, face value and selling value. Suppose if the government is creating one treasury bill, you keep like this. And one more concept I failed to explain you in the previous slide. This treasury bills or the short-term things will be available only for the duration of 91 days, 182 days, 364 days. That is, this treasury bills have been issued not for the random dates. It has been issued only for 91 days, 182 days and 364 days. So these are the three available denominations for which the treasury bills have been issued. So you consider like this, the government has been issuing the treasury bills to get 1 lakh rupees for the tenure of, let's say, 182 days. Okay, it has been issued by the government and it has been subscribed by the people. So here 1 lakh has been mentioned by the government in the treasury bill or the government security. Then this mentioned value in the bond or in the treasury bill is known as face value. This face value won't change generally. It is not dynamic. Once it has been mentioned 1 lakh means, then its value is face value is 1 lakh. It is not going to change. The person, the people, whoever is going to buy this treasury bill won't buy this treasury bill by paying the face value. Rather, they will buy this treasury bill by giving the selling price. I will keep it as SP. By paying the SP, they are going to buy this treasury bills. They are not going to buy with the face value. And what will be the selling price? Selling price is not mentioned in the treasury bill. Correct, only face value is mentioned. The selling price is decided based on the demand for this instrument. Based on the demand for this treasury bills, the selling price of this treasury bills might change. Suppose if there is more demand, means the price of this treasury bill may go to 95,000 or 96,000 also. If the demand is less, it can be even sold at 80,000. So we consider here that we will keep like this. The person is buying the treasury bill for 90,000. 90,000 is the selling price with which he is buying this treasury bill. So after the 182 days or after the maturity, he will get the face value. In this case, the face value is 1 lakh rupees. So what will be the profit for him? He bought the treasury bill at 90,000 and he is selling back at 1 lakh rupees. So this 10,000 rupees is profit to him. But one more important thing with respect to the treasury bill is treasury bills do not carry any interest rate. Treasury bills are not having any interest rate. Instead, whatever difference between the face value and selling price, the difference is taken as the profit. In this case, 10,000 is your profit and there is no interest for this. So this is with respect to the treasury bills. Now we will see how the long-term instruments are working. Once again. So with respect to the long-term instruments means it is greater than 365 days or 1 year. What are the long-term instruments? For the central government, it is known as the dated securities. For the state government, it is known as state development loans. Both are long-term, both are above the 365 days or above 1 year. So with respect to this, currently till now, like the treasury bills are available for 91, 182, 364 days. Like this, long-term G securities have been sold for more than 1 year and up to 40 years. Recently, Government of India are giving 40 years government securities also. So till now we are having the maximum tenure is 40 years for the government securities, long-term government securities. And with respect to the long-term government securities, we will get the interest. Unlike the face value and we are telling face value and selling price, unlike the short term, we will be, suppose if 1 lakh is the value promised by the government, or let's keep simple like 100 rupees is the face value, means suppose 5% or 10% interest they are quoting, like this means for 100 rupees, 10 rupees will be the interest. So we will getting the interest, but we won't use the word interest rate. The technical term used for the interest rate is coupon rate. Remember this term, coupon rate. We won't use the word interest rate. We will use the word coupon rate as a substitution to the interest rate. So here coupon rate is 10% for the 100 rupees, means the consumer will get 10% or 10 rupees as the coupon rate. And this coupon rate is distributed half yearly, that is yearly twice. If 10% is a coupon rate, means every 6 months you will be getting 5%. So in 1 year you will be getting 10%. So coupon rate is distributed half yearly once. 6 months once the coupon rate has been distributed. So this is the value of the long-term government securities. I hope the concept of long-term securities, short-term securities is clear to you. Correct. So we can tell technically that long duration or long-term government securities, coupon rate will be used and coupon rate is fixed. Initially during the issuance, coupon rate is fixed and this coupon rate is paid half yearly. With respect to the short duration, it is also known as the zero coupon bond because it is not paying any coupon rate. I mean, it is not paying any interest rate. Correct. Only the difference between the face value and selling price you are taking as a profit. It is not paying anything separately as an interest. That is coupon rate. Therefore, it can be called as zero coupon or no interest bond. Therefore, it is issued at the discount and redeemed at the face value. As you know, it is issued at the selling price. So it is issued at the discount because the face value is 1000 rupees, but it is issued at 900 rupees. Then it has been issued at 900 means compared to 1000, it has been issued at the discount. It is issued at the discount of 90 rupees or 900 rupees, but it is redeemed or it is got back at the face value of 1000 rupees. And 1000 minus 900, 100 will be the profit for you and no interest will be got for this instrument. Therefore, it is known as it is issued at the discount and redeemed at the face value. And one more thing, RBI repurchased the SDL for the first time in 2020. Before 2020, RBI never repurchased the state development loan. State development loan means long-term G securities issued by the state government. So this long-term securities issued by the G securities before 2020, has been never repurchased back by the RBI. RBI repurchased this SDL for the first time during 2020. You should remember this. Tomorrow there may be a question. RBI generally or regularly used to purchase the SDL, or RBI regularly used to purchase the long-term securities of the state government. If you are thinking that RBI is acting as a banker to the government, by having this thought in the mind, if you are answering means you will tell yes. But there are exceptions that for the first time and only one time RBI repurchased SDL means it is only during the 2020. It is not happening regularly. It is happening rarely. So these are the points you have to remember with respect to G securities. And with this G securities, the RBI is going to lend the money to the Government of India. And this is the first rule. And now when we are coming to the second rule, how the RBI maintains the internal debt of the Government of India. See, here there is the Government of India. They can borrow both by issuing government security within the India. Within India, it can borrow, correct? And outside India also, from the institutions such as World Bank, IMF, or from other countries such as USA, Japan, like this, the Government of India can borrow or can take a loan. But out of this, if it is borrowing within India, then it is known as internal debt. Because for whatever borrowing, government is having liability to pay back. So it is known as the internal debt. Whatever the Government of India borrowing outside the India, then it is known as the external debt. This is external and external debt. Out of these two parameters, the internal debt has been managed by Reserve Bank of India, whereas the external debt is managed by Finance Ministry, Ministry of Finance, or Finance Ministry manages the external debt, and internal debt has been managed by RBI. And one more important thing is, if government is borrowing 100 rupees, then out of this 100 rupees, 90 rupees Government of India is borrowing from within India or internal debt. Only 10 rupees it is borrowing from the external market. So internal liability is more compared to the external liability, and the majority of this liability, that is internal liability, has been managed by the RBI. The external liability has been managed by the Finance Ministry. You might be getting a question. RBI manages all the debt of Government of India. Then it is wrong, because RBI manages only the internal debt, not the external debt. You may get the question like this. RBI manages the majority of the debt of the Government of India. In that case, the answer is yes, because internal debt is majority, that is 90%. So answer will be yes. Now coming to the third, RBI represents the India. This is the third role as banker to the Government of India. Whenever some summit, some representation happening outside the India, suppose some economic conferences is there, in the World Bank meeting is there, IMF meeting is there, means entire India is being represented by the Reserve Bank of India. It won't be represented by this bank, that bank, not like that. Entire India will be represented by the Reserve Bank of India.